It's time to enter the world of real estate with Hawaii's only true real estate show, the Team Lally Real Estate Show. Grab a pen and get ready to take notes. Hawaii's premier real estate leaders, ADRIENNE Lally and ATTILIO Leonardi, will bring you the latest in real estate news and real-world strategies on how they can guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or they'll buy it. Now, here are your hosts, ADRIENNE and ATTILIO.
Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any real estate questions, you can reach us at 633-8633. That's 633-8633, or at teamlally.com, and that's Lally.
Well, hello, Maui. This is Attilio, and I was at Spago's at the Four Seasons Wailea.
Ooh, fancy.
Having a fancy breakfast. Lady comes up to me, asks me a bunch of questions, tax and legal questions. I said, those are great questions. Highly recommend you seek the appropriate licensed professional. But I then said, Mom, what other questions do you have? So if you hear anything on the show, sounds like legal advice, hey, run it past the attorneys with a heart.
Keenan Heron.
And if you hear anything like, sounds like tax advice, hey, run that past your favorite neighborhood CPA, because today we are realtors, only for today. And today we're going to talk about real estate.
All right. And today's quote of the day is, "It is better to look ahead and prepare than to look back and regret."
And who was that by?
Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Yeah. She was in the Olympics, right? Sprinter, I think.
I don't know.
You're guessing. That's what my thoughts are. Gary, we're going to go to we're going to go phone a producer. Yeah, Gary's head nod says yes.
Yes,
all right.
yes, you're
in
correct.
The Olympics.
Thank you, Gary.
But all right, so we're going to talk about this is the part where we talk about a success story or a learning story. Again, it's always better to be a wise person learns from their own mistakes, but a happy person learns from the mistakes of others. And so we're going to share some wisdom with you. Hopefully you'll be the happy person. So our seller was...
I think this is, he's been trying to sell this home for close to 3 years now.
Yeah, he was actually an inactive licensee himself. And this home's been on and off the market. I don't know, I think I saw it maybe 3, 4, 5 times. And he's never had really any success with it. And then somehow he heard about us on the radio.
Yes.
And called us up, and we scheduled a time for him to come visit with us in our office. Sat down, went through the whole presentation. This was probably maybe anywhere from 6 to 8 months ago, where we did that, listed the property for sale, and it's a distressed property, which means he owes more than it's worth.
And yeah, he's fallen behind.
Had fallen behind on his mortgage payments, owed more than what it was worth, wasn't sure what to do, was working with the banks to do loan modifications.
Yeah, he really wanted to keep it, but they just kept telling him no. And it was like at the point where it's, next notice, it could be, hey, here's your auction date. We're taking the house away.
Yeah. So if you know of anybody, or if you're in that situation, the number you want to give a call to so we can provide you with some solutions is, what is it, Adrienne?
It's 633-8633.
Yeah, 633-8633. And not necessarily, when we sit down with clients, we go through all the options. We don't just tell them, hey, let's list it for sale.
There's the forbearance, loan modification, short sale, the deed in lieu, or just be foreclosed on. I think
bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy, yeah. There's a lot of different options that we touch on with our clients.
Yeah.
But this particular client, the short sale was the best way for him to go.
Yep.
And we finally got an approval and a ready, willing, and able buyer.
Plus 2 backup buyers.
Yep.
So we're just the beginning stages of opening escrow. And I think we have a high probability. The buyers have been hanging out since August. And they really want the property. And it's not just, small kind properties or this one's in the $1 million range. So even people who have expensive properties get in trouble.
We can help anybody.
Yeah. Financial distress does not discriminate. and neither do we. So we can help anybody in any situation with their real estate.
Yes,
At least point you in the right direction.
And even if you're not distressed, and you have an equity sale where you're going to make money.
Yeah, maybe you're well adjusted, you have no issues. You have plenty equity in your property, and you're a pretty happy-go-lucky person. We like to have those kind of clients too.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. But do we have our man on the street?
Man on the street, Brandon Force.
Brandon, are you there?
Are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, Brandon. So Brandon's our guy in it. Well, you're residing in Wailuku, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but you go everywhere.
Yes, pretty much all over all the island, to Lahaina, to Haiku. The only place I don't go that often, but I need to, is Hana. But that's quite a drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he will if he needs to.
If he needs to. Not too many listings out there, but if somebody needs help, we'll go.
Yes, we will. So Brandon, why don't you share with our listeners a little bit about our open houses that are coming up this weekend and the inventory that's available.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So, our current listings that we have right now, soon to be growing, is we have the one in Haiku, the 55 Depot Place. It's currently priced at $899,000. The owners are currently off island right now, and actually, because of that factor, they're actually putting quite a bit of money back into the property. So it gets better and better every month goes by. So if you're going to pick it up, now is a good time to pick it up while those updates are being done, instead of when the new year's on us.
And that one's renting out for, what's the total amount that one's renting out for?
That one's renting out over $6,000 a month.
Wow.
That's a really huge income-producing property.
It's a great opportunity for someone.
Now, a lot of times when you buy a property that has renters in it, you can't. It's income-producing, but you can't live in it because you only got one dwelling. And this one's got, if I remember correctly, you got the main home,
It's 5.
Yeah, the 2 tree houses, a partridge and a pear tree, and then that other house, the lower home and stuff like that. Big cement driveway, a huge property.
Yeah.
Bamboo forest.
Over an acre.
Yeah.
How many acres is it? 2 acres, Brandon?
Yes, it's just shy of 2 acres.
Okay.
So give Brandon a call at 633-8633. You want more details on that Lepo Place.
All right, so that's Lepo Place in Haiku. What else we got, Brandon?
Speaking of investors, the property at 194 Mahina in Kihei is also a fantastic opportunity for investors. Right now, actually, currently gets just barely over $5,000 a month right now between the Ohana, the upstairs, and the 4 different units down below. So that rents out quite well, still in the heart of Kihei, within walking distance to the beaches, shops. And you don't hear the traffic noise either. I think I mentioned that last time, but it's still quiet, and it's a nice neighborhood in that area, I think.
And what's that one listed at, Brandon?
That one's at $689,000 currently.
Oh, wow.
But I'm told there might be an adjustment coming on for Christmas, so we'll be expecting that soon.
Something underneath the tree?
That's right.
It'll be a big tree then.
Well, get the offer in now, and then let's go from there.
And that one, with all of the tenants, it kind of can be tricky for showing. So we do have a full video of the home, so you can kind of get an idea, or you can give Brandon a call, and he'd be happy to make arrangements with all of those tenants to get you in and take a look.
Yeah, so first thing you want to do when you're looking for a home is you're going to give Brandon a call, and he's going to schedule a buyer's consultation, but more importantly, get you pre-approved.
With Brady.
Brady Spangler of Axia Mortgage, but we'll be talking with him later.
Yes, he'll be calling into the show. I think after this break, we're going to be chatting with him.
So Brandon, stay on the line. We're going to bring you back after the break and talk a little bit more.
Perfect.
Okay, thanks, Brandon.
We recommend Fidelity National Title Insurance Company for your next real estate transaction.
Through its nationwide network of direct operations and agents, Fidelity National Title provides title insurance, underwriting, escrow, and closing services to consumers.
Check them out at fidelitynationaltitle.com or fntic.com.
When you're trying to find the best of the best, don't settle for an agent that's just like the rest. Pick a team that knows just what to do. From buying or selling, we work hard for you. Team Lally, the best real estate in the islands. 227-2703.
Tired of waiting 2 or 3 months to finalize your home loan or refinance? Maui's Axia Home Loans has a turnaround time of 30 days or less by processing your loans locally.
Take advantage of today's low interest rates by calling our good friend Brady Spangler of Axia Home Loans. His personal cell is 264-3798. That's 264-3798. You know what I like about Axia?
What do you like about Axia?
Well, they're committed to creating sustainable home ownership through responsible lending. Hawaii NMLS ID number 2780. When buying, selling, or owning a home, we suggest that you have a home warranty from Home Warranty America. Avoid exploding appliances in your next real estate transaction.
Team Lally offers free seller's coverage on all our homes. Give us a call at 799-9596 so we can tell you how that works.
Let me ask you something. Do problems come to mind before opportunities when thinking about real estate? Well, here's a unique proposition for you. It's from ADRIENNE Lally and ATTILIO LEONARDI of Team Lally. What they do is they offer a no-obligation guarantee. If they don't do their job, you're free to get out of the contract. Pretty simple. But don't worry, you won't want to, because ADRIENNE and ATTILIO will sit down with you. Establish a price and a deadline to sell your home. If that deadline passes and your home isn't sold, they'll buy your home. Check out the success story. The team listed a home. It was a challenging listing due to some tenant constraints. With Team Lally's proven strategy, they generated 4 offers, resulting in a $4,000 over the asking price, an offer that was accepted by the seller. So call the only agents willing to earn your business every single day. That's ADRIENNE Lally, ATTILIO LEONARDI, and her team. That phone number is 633-8633. Number again is 633-8633. And you can also find them online at guaranteedsale.com.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or We'll Buy It. I'm Adrienne.
And I'm Attilio.
And we're talking about real estate.
See, when we talk all like slow and calm like that, it's like we're on one of those like NPR radio shows.
But we're not so
NPR, calm and relaxed. Thank you for tuning in to the Team Lally radio show. No, we want with our bumper music, man. We got to jack it up.
Yes, we do. All right, so we have Brandon Forrest, our man on the street, and we have a new guest who's just joined us, Brady Spangler, our favorite Maui loan officer.
Hey, Brady, are you there?
I am here. Thank you, Team Lally, for having me on the show today.
Yeah, so we're just finishing up with Brandon with his he's our man on the street. He's like Mr. Rogers. He's in your neighborhood.
Awesome.
And so
does he wear the vest too?
Yes, he does.
The cardigan?
He changes his shoes when he comes into the studio.
That's gonna be my new attire.
Yeah. So the you were telling us about some of the listings, and then we're gonna interact with Brady and say, hey, what are your thoughts are on the financing of something like that? So what's the next one, Brandon?
Next one is the wonderful Komoa Views, number 208. It's just up from the Cove. It's a small community of 44 units. They're all 1 bedroom, 1 bath with a few studios in there. It's a very quiet atmosphere. It has a small little pool to relax in. I was actually, the last time I was out there, I was thinking that balcony, you might just be able to jump off of it, but I wouldn't recommend doing that.
Yeah. And so, Brady, if you're a buyer looking to buy a condo, what's some things that you should be aware of when financing that type of situation?
Well, you're definitely going to want to associate yourself with a lender that knows the local market, because those are key points that will help you get the transaction closed. I mean, condos on the islands are a lot different than condos on the mainland. For instance, Komoa Views, you can do that on the conforming side. With as little as 5% down. But, there's a lot of vacation rentals here on Maui that range from anywhere from 30% down to 20% down, all depending on the owner-occupancy ratio in the project.
Okay. What does the owner-occupancy ratio typically have to be?
So basically, the way we look at it, if it's a short-term or they offer nightly rentals, we consider it what's called a condotel or just a vacation rental condo.
Yep.
So it's obviously the more investors you have in the project, the more at risk it is to the bank. So we're going to come in 30% down. It's going to be the max if the owner occupancy ratio is 0 to 29%.
Okay.
So if the owner occupancy ratio, what I'm talking about is how many owner occupied residents live in the project along with second home residents. So those are people that live there on property, or they consider it their second home and they don't rent it out.
Gotcha.
So basically 30% to 50% owner occupancy, you're going to be required to put 25% down. 51% or higher, you only have to come in with 20% down.
Now, aren't you the underwriting departments? Aren't you also looking at the delinquency rate with the
Yeah, I mean, delinquency rates. The key figure is going to be 15%.
Okay.
So, and keep in mind that's more on the conforming side. When we get into the portfolio, we can be very creative. If you want a conforming condo, there's a handful of them here still on the islands, but those are the ones you can get in for 5% down. The developer can't own, or one single entity can't own more than 10% of the project. You can't be 15% more delinquent HOA dues. There's no litigation. But the good thing with us is we like to call ourselves a one-stop shop, and if it is financeable, we're going to find a way to do it.
Gotcha.
That's right. And just recently, you guys were able to get that approval to have the condo tells and the Canadians,
I mean, that's the key ingredient to, lending here on Maui is, we've signed up with a local broker relationship. And, we've got an investor that will do that as well. And, we can do that all day long.
Okay.
Now, could you quickly go over the difference between what is the conforming and the portfolio loans?
Basically, a conforming condo is they don't offer nightly rentals. It's mainly investor or owner occupancy concentrated. There's so many guidelines that go into a condo. So everyone is unique in its sense, because if a client is coming in and they're buying it as their primary residence, then we don't care. As long as it's a conforming condo, we don't care about the owner occupancy ratio. If they're going to buy it as an investor, then anything over the 50% owner occupancy ratio is going to be a deterrent. But then that changes to the condo tell side. So there's, long story short, vacation rentals are portfolio. Non-vacation rentals are conforming. That sums it up in a nutshell. There's a lot of fine print, but you just really got to know the project.
That clears a lot of things up for me, because I thought a conforming loan meant that you had to have a vegan diet, not consume a lot of alcohol, and exercise on a regular basis.
And that's what Brady does.
That's what Brady does.
I try all those things.
No, I think you're successful at all those things.
Well, you're definitely going to outlive us. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So what about like on a single family home, or even like a single family home with multiple dwellings? What kind of, what would be the difference between a conforming and a portfolio loan?
Well, it's all going to be, anything under 625.5, is going to be conforming. Portfolio is anything above, or it's just, it's considered a jumbo loan limit. There were talks that Maui increased their loan limit today to $650,700. I haven't verified that, but I've heard it. So I'm still doing some research on that.
Okay.
But multi-dwelling, unpermitted, all that stuff, every property is unique. And there's a lot of unpermitted and, non-conforming items. Those aren't too big of an issue as long as, the appraiser can address that ahead of time.
So our property on Lepo Place that Brandon was talking about earlier with multiple dwellings, and I think one of them's like not even permitted at all. How would you approach a property like that?
What the appraiser has to do, the appraiser has to meet 4 different guidelines. And those 4 guidelines, it's got to be normal for the area. And I believe Lepo, that's on the north side, yeah?
That's in Haiku.
Correct. Haiku, yeah. So very, very common for unpermitted, non-conforming over there.
Okay.
They can't give value for the unpermitted areas. Majority of the time the value's in the land, really.
Yes.
And they have to compare it to similar structures in the area. And then the last one, you can't have safety concerns. So you can't have wires hanging out of the walls, or, if you walk out on the deck, it bows. It's kind of the safety concerns go along the same lines of common sense. It's just the construction, they're not going to open the walls and look at the plumbing and look at the circuit breakers and the GFI outlets, but it's just you can tell if it's sound construction.
So I think what the key to how our success is that we're able to combine efforts here with a guy like Brady, and then having Brandon finding the properties, and then we don't, I always tell people, you're a realtor, we are the experts in helping you find the real estate and do your due diligence in selling or buying. But when it comes to financing, we like to be the source of the source. And I'm glad we came across you and started working with you, because I know, just like in any industry, nobody equally works. Everybody in the industry does not work equally as hard. You got to find the persons like yourself that are willing to answer the phone calls and do a couple of little extra steps to make the deal go through.
Yeah, because not every deal is going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah.
No deal is easy anymore.
Exactly.
You just got to set up for realistic expectations. And my goal with every deal is I might do a little more legwork up front, but my goal is to close 100% of the deals that I bring in.
Okay.
A lot of people out there, they tell you what you want to hear. They don't tell you the reality. Sometimes the reality is a shock, but if you're going to save a lot of people time and money up front, I'd rather do that than just walking people down a path, that's leading to nowhere.
Would you say your theme is the honest banker?
Absolutely.
And then, so Brandon, tell us about Luana Kai, and then we'll get Brady's spin on that on the finance side.
Yeah, Luana Kai, that's 103A, and that's extremely important because it's one of the front units facing directly the ocean. The only thing between you and the ocean and the sand is just a massive amount of grassy lands, which you can lay out a towel, everything that way. But the actual community itself, it's very popular for short-term vacation rentals. In fact, this particular condo is in that pool. And this particular one is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. What's nice about North Kihei is it gets a lot of wind, so you don't even have to really worry about AC. It just has that offshore breeze that keeps it all cool.
Yeah, ground floor unit. You can walk out to the beach. There's some tennis courts, too, off to the left, I noticed.
Yep. And this one is a short sale, and we have had some offers on it. I think a combination of cash offers and financed offers. So, Brady, could you share with us what kind of, this would be?
I mean, you're going to be at 30% down. The good thing is we're able to use long-term. If you've got clients that are a little bit short on the qualification side, you can use rents to help qualify on the subject if you're buying it as an investment. But keep in mind, you can't use vacation rents because it's so hard to quantify that data.
Yes.
So basically, the appraiser's going to do a market rent analysis and a comparable rent schedule for the area on the long term. So at least we can offset that debt service somewhat so we're not hitting them for the full TITI.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Now, does it make any difference how long it's been a rental pool, or you just as a period?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter because there's really no way to verify rental data. You can, but there's just not enough companies doing it. And like a lease, I have a lease. That rent payment is the same for a year. You've got your off seasons, your peak seasons, your low seasons. I mean, how much are you giving this client a discount because they came last year? I mean, it's so hard to measure that data, and that's why lenders. I've got some portfolio lenders that will allow you to do that, but the caveat with that is they only want to deal on the jumbo side. So I mean, their minimum loan amount is $300,000.
Now, like with the rental analysis, my understanding is that they'll only count 75%.
75% of that, and then they take that away from your debt service.
Okay.
And your debt service is obviously your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and then HOAs, paying of the condo.
All right. Well, hey, we do need to take a quick break for the news and some messages, but don't go too far. When we come back, we have some more questions for Brady. For Brady and Brandon. Brady's thehonestbaker.com with Axia Home Loans.
And Brandon is like Mr. Rogers. He's the realtor in your neighborhood.
So don't go too far.
CBS News Update. I'm Harley Carnes. House Speaker John Boehner defends his support for the 2-year compromise federal budget plan.
I came here to cut the size of government. That's exactly what this bill does.
Boehner's big headline today, however, came when he blasted some conservative policy groups, saying their opposition to the compromise leaves them lacking credibility. Jenny Beth Martin, co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots.
This particular bill passes the buck. It sets up spending levels and increases taxes, and it sweeps the issue under the rug, under the carpet, so that the American voters don't even see it again until after the next election.
Political analyst, University of Virginia professor Larry Sabato.
Temporarily, Speaker Boehner has the upper hand, but it won't last. These conservative groups have great power and loads of money, and they have influence in Republican primaries, and that's what most of the House members fear, a strong primary challenge.
CBS News Update. I'm Harley.
We recommend Fidelity National Title Insurance Company for your next real estate transaction.
Through its nationwide network of direct operations and agents, Fidelity National Title provides title insurance, underwriting, escrow, and closing services to consumers.
Check them out at fidelitynationaltitle.com or fntic.com.
When you're trying to find the best of the best, don't settle for an agent that's just like the rest. Pick a team that knows just what to do. From buying or selling, we work hard for you. Team Lally, the best real estate in the islands. 227-2703.
Do problems come to mind before opportunities when thinking about real estate? Well, here's a unique proposition for you. It's from ADRIENNE Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally. What they do is they offer a no-obligation guarantee. If they don't do their job, you're free to get out of the contract. Pretty simple. But don't worry, you won't want to, because ADRIENNE and Attilio will sit down with you, establish a price and a deadline to sell your home. If that deadline passes and your home isn't sold, they'll buy your home. Check out the success story. A seller was foreclosed upon due to falling behind maintenance fee payments, and, the seller felt hopeless. But Team Lally got the home into escrow. The seller was freed from debt in 30 days, and the bank gave him an incentive for the trouble. So check out the agents that are willing to earn your business every single day. That's ADRIENNE Lally, Attilio Leonardi, and her team. That phone number is 633-8633. That number again, 633-8633. And you can also check them out online at guaranteedsale.com.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or We'll Buy It. I'm Adrienne.
And I'm Attilio.
And we're talking about loans and real estate today. We have Brady Spangler from Axia Home Loans on as our guest.
Hey, Brady, I want to give you some heads up and some good news. You're going to be featured in our book that we're coming out for the Maui Real Estate Guide.
Yes.
Awesome.
And it's going to be on Amazon for, $19.99 plus shipping. But if people come to our website, they can click on a button, and we'll send them a free copy.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
So you're featured on there as as the lender for Maui, and your name and phone number will be on there. And
I think we're going to interview him.
Oh yeah, we got to interview you.
We have an interview section for all about Brady.
Yeah.
And how he likes living. Where do you live, Brady?
What part of?
I live in South Maui, in Maui Meadows.
Maui Meadows. Okay.
So Brady's going to share with our.
What's it like to live in
our
Maui
clients.
Meadows?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So, Brandon, what's another? Do we have another one? Oh no, that was it.
That was it.
Okay.
So Brady, could you share with us a recent success story?
Absolutely. It kind of has to do with taking over a deal in the 11th hour, and I had a mother and daughter moving over here from the mainland, and they were buying it second home because she's a teacher, the daughter, and the mom. They've always dreamed about owning a home in Maui. So they bought a second home. Well, they wanted to use their credit union on the mainland. And, there was an unpermitted ohana. And, obviously they were renting out the ohana. So they went through the whole process using their lender. The appraisal came back. And because it was appraised, with an unpermitted ohana, their lender said, no way, we don't want to do it. So it took them a little while to come over to my team. because they just wanted to stick with their lender. Long story short, I think we ended up closing the deal in 13 or 15 days.
Wow.
But, it just really made the seller feel at ease because, they already had plans of packing and moving to a new place. And, the buyer's and seller's agent once again said, we gave you a impossible one and you came to the table and you made it happen. So when I say there's no easy ones anymore, they're not. And it's really how you deal with each loan from start to finish, setting up realistic expectations, and just making sure that you keep your clients happy.
Yeah, I think it's important to maintain a good state of mind because remember, we'll just call him Richard. And first, I've changed his name to protect the innocent, but Richard.
No, you haven't.
No, that's his real name, but you got to figure out the rest. I'm going to tell you what his last name is and where the property is, but we got into escrow immediately. The buyer cancels within the inspection period because the husband wasn't on island. Get another buyer, get it into escrow. We're literally 3 days away. I think the lender was doing a final employment check and found out, I don't think the borrower even knew they had lost his job, but then that loan canceled in the final hour. And now we're in the third time we're in escrow with this townhome, and the underwriter is saying, hey, we're not sure if we want to do this because
50% occupancy rate.
Yeah, they needed like 51% and they got like 50.5. And we said, well, if you do the loan and the lady moves in, there's your let the borrower move in. There's your 51%. But I think they're getting it worked out.
Nice.
But, yeah. So that's what we're saying as an example. Be prepared for those things. But we always have a plan B, C, and D. Correct. Yep. Hey, Brandon. You know what I want you to do? Tell us about your experience so far with Brady as far as responsiveness. I know you're always like, man, that guy answers his phone all the time.
Yeah, I literally brag about Brady's promptness.
Yeah.
I think one time I was actually in a Lodi open house, and this gentleman just kept on hammering me with highly sophisticated questions about lending, and I said, let me call. And I just expected to get a voicemail and just put it off as, we'll get back to you. But Brady, I don't know where you're headed, but you were about to get on an airplane. You're in the airplane.
He was going to do some skydiving, and before he jumped out of the airplane, he said, I'm going to take this one last call.
So, and therefore, that phone call he took, and then was able to chat for a few minutes with that client. And then anytime I've emailed or sent any client, regardless of the client's ability to pull through a loan, he's been very creative. I think even once you were setting up a daisy chain on several different buyers to work together to possibly buy one home too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just, with today's digital age, we all know we got smartphones. I've built a successful team. I have a full-time assistant and a full-time processor. So we are very, very busy, but we're run so well that you wouldn't know it. And you talk to so many people and they're like, oh, we're so busy, we're so busy. In our industry, we're all busy, but that's not an excuse. So, yes. It's how you handle and how you can maintain your day-to-day operations flawlessly. And that's what it takes if you're going to succeed in the marketplace.
Yeah, I think and from that person's perspective, that borrower or that person wants to buy a home or sell a home, they don't care how busy you are. They're concerned about their situation and how you're going to take care of me.
So Brady, going back to that success story with the credit union, as far as the interest rate, what kind of? I'm betting that you came in and you had a better rate than
here's
the credit
the problem.
union.
And I will be completely honest because I'm the honest banker.
Yes.
The rate was a 3/8 higher. And the reason is because when they locked in, they waited 60 days. Interest rates have really inched up. If you've been watching the news, rates are only going up. The economy is getting better. All signs point that, mortgage security buying from the feds is going to, get scaled back in January.
Yes.
So I was up front with my clients, and if they would have locked in at our first conversation, they would have basically saved themselves a quarter in rate. But like I tell my clients, if you want to gamble in Vegas, don't lock. If you're not a gambler, if you like it, lock it.
Now explain that, because people are hearing this lock thing and they may be a first-time home buyer and they may
basically, interest rates are, just like the stock market, and interest rates are the same. They move up and down daily, hourly, sometimes 5 to 6 times in a day. It's all, mortgage-backed securities are tied to bonds, and we can get into this whole thing. Without getting too detailed, when you're locked in at your interest rate on a 30-year fix, you're locked in for 30 days, 45 days, however far we need to lock you in. We can go up to 60. We can even go to 180, but it's a little more pricey. We'll lock you into your closing. So then you're hedging yourself, and when you're at closing, your rate is the same. And the thing is in a very, very volatile market that we're in right now, rates are going up. And, some people sit around and they think they're going to come back down when, historically speaking, we're still at all-time lows. I mean, I know, my parents were talking about 17, 18, 19%.
Yeah.
We're still at historically all-time lows, and when you lock in your rate, there's no uncertainty that it's going to go up because you're locked in. And we do offer a free float-down policy within 15 days of closing. If rates drop drastically, and we have certain parameters that they have to, fall within, then we will do a free float down at the honor of our clients.
So to give an example, if they locked in at 4% and the interest rates went down to 3 3/4, you guys would
do the free float down?
Correct. Within 15 days of closing, if the market's improved to a substantial amount, it's 100 basis points on the same rate. The rate has to be at least an eighth lower, then we do a free float down.
Okay, so this is when it was good to remember what your fractions are. 1/8. With that slash over the 8.
Yeah.
Now, you can also buy your rate down as well, correct? How does that work?
Not to get so sidetracked, but so many people are so afraid of points. But when I explain points to my clients, it's all on how long you're going to be in a property. And I do a break-even analysis with all my clients. If it's going to be a short-term hold and, less than 5 to 7 years, you want as little carrying cost as possible. So you don't want to come in and buy the rate down because your cost savings comes from years 7 through 30 or 7 through 15. So I do that cost savings analysis with them, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to stay here until our 360th payment's made. And I said, okay, so after your 89th payment, you're saving X amount of dollars for the life of your loan. Does this make sense to pay a little bit more up front? And they're like, absolutely. So points aren't a bad thing if you understand them, and they make sense for your specific scenario.
And this is where that honest banker policy comes in, because during the bubble, we know that loan officers or mortgage bank lenders were just pretty much writing any kind of loan that netted them a ton of money. And where are those lenders today? They're gone.
They're out of business.
They're gone.
Or in jail.
And so, or been indicted. I think I read this in the paper. Some of the first federal indictments for lending fraud were actually occurred in the state of Hawaii, not on Maui, but was on Oahu. But so it's important, and I know I think that's what attracted us to want to be in business and refer our clients to Brady, was that the fact that you're the honest banker and that you're going to do what's best for the client because you're about the long-term relationships.
Absolutely.
Hey, speaking of long-term relationships, this has nothing to do with it, but what's a good phone number to call you at if we need to talk to the honest banker?
808-264-3798.
What's this? So it's 264?
3798.
264-3798.
And then the website
is www.thehonestbanker.com.
All right, thehonestbanker.com. That's easy to remember.
And he's got a pretty nice website with lots of resources and tools on it. You can get all your loan questions answered.
And I always, as all three of you can attest, I pretty much am available 24/7 within reason. I mean, I think at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, maybe by, I think I try to go to sleep, but I'm up at 5, so I'm always on my emails, always on my phone. If it's a question or a scenario, or it's all about. I like to educate my clients and let them make the decision because they're the one buying the house. And there's so many people that try to ram you into a position or a decision you don't want to make. And there's no forcing. I mean, you can't take a house back after you buy it. So you educate your clients. That's what I like to do, and let them make their own decisions.
All right. Well, Brady, thank you so much for joining us today.
We're going to let you go have some lunch.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Team Lally. I greatly appreciate it.
And then, Brandon, stay on the line. We'll hear a couple more questions, and we'll let you go, too, right after this next break.
All righty.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Brady.
When you're trying to find the best of the best, don't settle for an agent that's just like the rest. Pick a team that knows just what to do. From buying or selling, we work hard for you. Team Lally, the best real estate in the islands. 227-2703.
Tired of waiting 2 or 3 months to finalize your home loan or refinance? Maui's Axia Home Loans has a turnaround time of 30 days or less by processing your loans locally.
Take advantage of today's low interest rates by calling our good friend Brady Spangler of Axia Home Loans. His personal cell is 264-3798. That's 264-3798. You know what I like about Axia?
What do you like about Axia?
Well, they're committed to creating sustainable home ownership through responsible lending. Hawaii NMLS ID number 27830.
Are you confused, even frightened when thinking about real estate? Well, here's a unique proposition for you. It's from ADRIENNE Lally and ATTILIO Leonardi of Team Lally. What they do is they offer a no-obligation guarantee. If they don't do their job, you're free to get out of the contract. Real simple. But don't worry, you won't want to, because ADRIENNE and ATTILIO will sit down with you, establish a price and a deadline to sell your home. If that deadline passes and your home isn't sold, they'll buy your home. Check out the success story. A past client of Team Lally got a new mainland job opportunity and called the team again. The team took the challenge, took photos and a video on Saturday, and went live with it on Monday. They got full price the same day. How's this happen? Well, the photos and video tour convinced the buyers that this was a home for which they'd been waiting for. So call the only agents willing to earn your business every single day. ADRIENNE Lally, ATTILIO Leonardi, and her team. That phone number is 633-8633. You can also check them out online at guaranteedsale.com.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or We'll Buy It. I'm Adrienne.
And I'm Attilio Leonardi for today.
What about tomorrow?
I have a multiple personality. Tomorrow I'll be Susie. But that's another talk show. So we got Brandon. He's your realtor in your neighborhood. And so, Brandon, was there a neighborhood highlight that you wanted to share with us?
Yes, if you recall, last week we went over the Wailuku side of Waikapu, and we're going to the other side of the island today to a little subdivision called Haiku 9 subdivision. And it's just that really what people recognize that area is not so much a subdivision, but what it's very near to, which is the Haiku Cannery Mall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So very close to shops. You have yoga, post office, all kinds of little knickknackety places up there. And, of course, it's all surrounded by the lush green foliage that is Haiku.
So what's the lowest price property in this neighborhood?
There are 4 current homes that are active in that area, and the lowest is $290,000 for a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and they range from the highest, also $575,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home.
That's very reasonable.
Yes.
And what kind of lot size?
They're
within a quarter acre.
Nice.
Wow, big. You can spread out up there if you're going up to Haiku. Now, isn't that also a Japanese limerick?
It could be, but I tell you what, it's a maze. If you recall the last time we were up there, I definitely took you guys the wrong direction to get back to the highway.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the average days on market for properties out in Haiku?
Well, in general, the residential homes, they're 112 as the average days on market.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to keep in mind that's kind of skewing the data a little bit because some don't have the correct price point.
Mm-hmm.
Or property condition, perhaps. And so, generally speaking, we're still seeing things move at the right price point within 60 days.
Yeah, so what we tell people is when you're thinking about selling your home, you want to get the highest price in the shortest period of time. And what we mean by that is you don't want your home sitting on the market
for
100, 200, 300 days. But Brandon, didn't you say you saw one out there? It was like 1,200 days?
Yeah, they had been on a long time.
I think Moses was the property owner, and no.
That's got to be a record. I don't think I've ever seen a property on.
They're just like, you know what? This is what I want for it, and if it's 10 years down the road, then I'll wait. But basically, the buyer psychology and why you don't want to leave your home on the market forever, unless you like having visitors every Sunday between 2 and 5, is that the buyer psychology is there must be something wrong with the property, and people actually stop looking at it. We know that for a fact because that's the internet. But anyway, Brandon, anything else about beautiful Haiku?
It is a growing area. There's a few more subdivisions that are being developed. You know, even though Maui's trying not to grow extremely fast, it's impossible to stop altogether. So there's definitely more amenities coming in, even towards just the roads being opened up, being from a 1-lane to a 2-lane. In general, that whole area is starting to slowly grow.
Hey, you know what? If there's a developer out there, we'll do a little advertising. I know we had met with an owner. We don't want to give out names or address or anything like that, but we know this is some prime frontage property, some acres that have the water meters. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah, it's actually just over almost 8 acres of land, potentially, and it's been pre-approved for subdivision into 11 pieces.
11 pieces.
And the water is actually available the 18th. So it's 100% ready for the right investor to come in and just kind of pick up the pieces and potentially make some good money from it.
Yeah, so if you're that person and that's putting a bug in your ear and you're like, what did he say? Give us that scenario again, Brandon.
Essentially, it has a 180-degree view from all the way from Koholave all the way to Molokai. So beautiful bi-coastal views. It's been pre-approved through the county to be subdivided into 11 pieces. It's currently just shy of 8 acres in its entirety right now. And here's the hinge factor, which really makes it potential value, is you don't have to spend years waiting for water meters. It's actually been approved, and as of the 18th will be available.
Yeah, so if you want to get more information on properties like that, the number to call is 633-8633. That's 633-8633. And what you're going to hear is this heavy breathing, because that's Brandon running for the phone.
No, I think you're going to hear the Team Lally jingle.
The Team Lally jingle. Oh, yeah, while you're on hold, being connected to Brandon, your man on the street. And so that's just an example, folks. If you're listening to our show, we are a real estate team. We're not solo agents, and we spend a ton of money on marketing. I think we're spending on average probably about $16,000 on marketing, not only to market properties that we already have, but to solicit potential sellers out there, because we know inventory is tight. And so that is an example of some of the up-and-coming listings that we are working on. And if you want to be in the know, you got to call that number. Brandon, what's that number again, Brandon?
I'll give you my personal cell phone.
Sure. No,
it's 633-8633.
Brandon's personal cell phone is 633-8633.
Okay, and then Brandon, where are you going to be at this Sunday? What's open? Are you doing open house this weekend?
Hanging out in front of 7-Eleven. What's going on?
Yeah, not in front of 7-Eleven. This Sunday afternoon, I'll actually be at the Kamoa Views unit.
Okay.
You'll see the signs waving in the wind. Definitely come on up.
And that's going to be on Sunday?
Correct. And then the other 2 days, I won't be able to make the other 2 days.
That's okay. Sunday, 2 to 5. Visit Brandon over at Kamoa Views. I think it's one of the lowest priced condos out in Kihei right now, and a great unit. And you can go meet Brandon Force, our man on the street.
He's a really nice guy. If you want to bring him a sandwich or something like that, what you like? Egg salad? No, I'm just kidding. But anything else, Brandon, as far as what you want to share with anything else that's going on with real estate here on Maui?
Well, just keep in mind there's going to be a potential listing coming up in the Maui Lani subdivision as well. We'll have more information about that next week, most likely. That's in the works, as well as potentially a Haleakala home as well.
I know.
So there's definitely more things coming down the pike.
I know, and we've been talking to somebody out in Lahaina, and I mean, it just seems like something's popping up about every week now, and as we're getting the momentum taking off. Speaking of momentum, this has nothing to do with it. Well, actually, maybe it is to do with momentum. It's about what we do to improve our skill sets and to better serve our clients. What are we doing today, Adrienne?
We are at the Worth Shop.
Worth Shop.
So that's today and tomorrow. We're taking some classes.
2 days, all day, Thursday and Friday, over at the Four Seasons. And basically, these speakers are coming from all over the country to talk about design, about marketing.
Marketing to the affluent. Did you know that I think that the Maui community
second
for the net worth? So first is New York City, second is Maui, third San Francisco.
Yeah, so we're right up there. And so there's about 300 of us over there together, the realtors from all over the United States as well as all over the state of Hawaii, getting together and sharing ideas.
And learning.
And learning. And that's one of the things that we do. And, you know, it costs us time and money to be there. And that's what we do for our clients. We're not sitting around driving around Mercedes. In fact, I drive a Corolla. But I put my money into education instead so I can better serve my clients.
And I drive a minivan.
She drives a minivan because you got them little kids that like to throw the manapua all over the car.
And draw on my seats.
And draw on the seats?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. Anything else we want to wrap up with at the end?
No. Thank you, Brandon, so much for calling in and sharing with us the listings, open house, and all about Haiku.
Yeah, so look for Brandon this Sunday.
At Kamoa Views.
Bring him a turkey sandwich.
All right.
That's great. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon. All right, so we can go over our learning story real quick before the end of our show.
Oh, yeah? What's the learning story?
It's about a balanced life being a lie.
Okay. Balance doesn't exist. Time on one thing means time away from another. So if you're saying yes to something else, you're saying no to something else. This makes balance impossible. This is called middle management. The problem with living in the middle is that
it prevents you from making extraordinary time commitments to anything. In your effort to attend to all things, everything gets short and nothing gets its due.
So the key word here is counterbalancing. The long and short of it, the problem is that when you focus on what is truly important, something will always be underserved. So imagine life is a game in which you're juggling 5 balls.
The balls are called work, family, health, friends, and integrity.
And you're keeping all of them in the air, but one day you finally come to understand that work is a what kind of ball?
It's a rubber ball.
And if you drop it, what happens?
It'll bounce back.
It'll bounce back. No worries about that. The other 4 balls, family, health, friends, integrity, are made of glass. And if you drop those, what happens, Adrienne?
It will be irrevocably scuffed, nicked, and perhaps even shattered.
All right.
So we're going to be going over this kind of learning story here at our Team Advance that's coming up on Tuesday.
Yes.
And that's something that's special that we do annually with our team to help them
set their goals for the new year and better serve their clients.
And have the counterbalance that we all need and deserve, right?
Yes. So no such thing as balance. There's only counterbalance. So if you're feeling guilty about not spending enough time with the kids, stop what you're doing. Go spend some time with them. Take them to the park. I think the saying is, your children want half the money that you think they want, but twice as much time as you think they need. Something like that.
And we just read in How to Win Friends and Influence People, there was that quote from the child to his mom saying that,
I know you love me, Mommy, because every time I talk to you, you stop what you're doing and you listen. Okay, I know Mom right now. So a mom just heard that and she's getting all teary-eyed.
So stop and listen.
All right, so...
Well, thanks for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Brady Spangler with Axia Home Loans.
Denise Kehu with Hawaii Escrow and Title.
Matt Fortier with Fidelity National Title and Escrow of Hawaii. If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com and check out our business partner page under our links section.
We also want to give a big thank you to Gary, our producer here in the studio.
Chee-hoo.
And make sure to tune in next week. We'll have one of our awesome guests talking about something that will change your life forever.
This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed
Sold Program. If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price and or time frame, we'll have it bought for cash. Thanks and aloha!